You got hit in the crossfire on January 6th?
Yes. Yeah. So apparently my message was so terrifying to people that as sort of this feeling of antipathy toward me grew and grew over 2.5 years. I started Walkaway in May of 2018. And by the time we got to the end of 2020, Walkaway was 2.5 years old. Over 500,000 people had already joined the movement at that point. Tens of thousands of people shared their videos and written testimonials, sharing their Walkaway stories with us. And I was invited to be a speaker at a permitted event on Capitol grounds on January 6th. And as I was approaching the Capitol and to do my scheduled speaking engagement, I started getting messages on my phone saying that there was something going down at the Capitol. I was getting messages that the speaking engagement may be canceled because there was some sort of disruption. And at the time, I had like 1.5 million followers on social media. So I thought, okay, if something is in fact going on at the Capitol, I want to capture it myself so that I can report accurately to people what's actually going on. So I started shooting a video and I walked up to the Capitol from the east side. And I stood outside of the Capitol for 8 minutes on January 6th. I never entered the Capitol. When I got to the east side of the building, there were 0 police officers, literally 0, not a single police officer. The barricades were already fully open by the time that I arrived. There were thousands of people standing outside. I walked up the steps. When I got to the top of the steps on the east side, the doors of the Capitol were fully open on the east side, and there was a crowd of several hundred people at the top of the stairs. Some of them were kind of pushing their way into the building. The majority of people like me stood outside and shot a video. So I stood there for 8 minutes shooting this video, and then a man came out of the building, got on a bullhorn, and said, "They've cleared Congress. Everybody's left the building. Move out, move out." And I immediately turned around and even told the people behind me, "They're saying that everyone needs to move out. You should go this way." And I went down the stairs and then I uploaded that video to Twitter. People started asking me over the course of the next couple of weeks, are you afraid that something's going to happen to you? Because they were going after so many people. But I said, no, I'm not afraid because I didn't break the law and I didn't go inside the building and I didn't participate in a riot. And I didn't even witness other people rioting. No one was breaking windows where I was. Nobody was fighting with police officers. There weren't any police officers on the east side of the building. So I said, no, I'm not afraid at all. So imagine my surprise 2.5 weeks after January 6th, on the morning of Monday, January 25th, when a team of FBI agents in tactical gear stormed my apartment at dawn, got me out of bed, put me in handcuffs, told me that I was facing multiple felony charges for what I had done on January 6th, and began stripping my apartment of my computers, my phones, my iPads, hard drives, thumb drives, camera equipment, clothing, taking my things, putting them in bags while they carted me off to jail. And that began what turned into about a 3-year legal nightmare with the U.S. Department of Justice.
Did you have any contact? Have you ever thought about reaching out to any of those FBI guys and seeing how they feel about what they did?
Well, the agent who I say concocted my case was an FBI agent named Jeremy Desor. And he kept his job up until just a few months ago when it was recently discovered that he was one of the key players and I guess you'd say architects of Arctic Frost, which was the FBI initiative against Donald Trump, which led to them storming his home and raiding his place at Mar-A-Lago and taking his things. So he has recently been fired. I use the word concocted because there was no reasonable case against me. And they didn't go after, they identified other people that were standing around me. Those people didn't get charged. I got charged with a felony for what they called occupying restricted grounds, but other people standing right next to me got charged with nothing. Since they had no case against me, what they did was this agent, Jeremy Desor, said, Well, Mr. Strzok is the leader of this walkaway movement. He has a very large following. He does events all over the country. Hundreds, sometimes thousands of people come. So he has a large influence. People listen to him. And by virtue of the fact that Mr. Strzok chose to go to the Capitol on January 6th and stood outside of the building, he was encouraging other people to participate in the riot on January 6th. And because of Mr. Strzok, police officers got hurt. What's that?
Were you live streaming it, or did you put it right up? Or, I mean, when did you post it?
Immediately after. Anyone who does content creation knows when you're in a crowd of thousands of people, you can't get a good signal. So what I chose to do instead was just film what I was seeing, walk away from the crowd, and then upload the video to Twitter. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's preposterous. The idea that I would film myself encouraging the crowd to storm the building or harm police officers and then upload that to my conservative audience who's pro-law enforcement is beyond the pale. But nobody was really asking reasonable questions in D.C. with January 6th. You know, the entire Department of Justice, the court system, the prosecutors, these were all Biden fans. Well, I'll say anti-Trumpers. These were all anti-Trumpers. So they were able to get away with all of it.
It's breathtaking. It makes you feel like, you know, where no one's safe when this kind of rapaciousness gets going. It's just, I hope that guy is a long way from the justice system or government, but who knows?